Hey friends, hey, it is Stacey, and it is 2 weeks post Essence. It is time to do a video because everybody was talking about Essence, so I want to give you my perspective. Let's talk about it.
You got desires, I know. You got desires, I know.
So, I am back. I am here to talk about Essence 2025. It's been so many conversations about Essence. I've been asked, I've seen a lot of think pieces and discussions about people not being satisfied with Essence. And you know what? I want to give my perspective. Historically, we have been coming to Essence for a while. My very first trip to Essence was 2005. 2005. I remember us landing, checking into our hotel, and hearing about Luther Vandross passing. So that Essence experience was one that stood out to me. And it was one that I came with my friends. It was a girls' trip. Very first time at Essence, and 10 out of 10. Okay, next trip was 2014. 2014, I think, was Essence's, maybe their 20 year, and Prince was the headliner on Friday night. So that was my very first time seeing Prince, but it was a girls' trip. So mind you, each time that I come to Essence, I come to Essence for the music. So we buy the 3-day weekend pass before we come, and we know every night we are going to concerts. That is just what we do. So back in 2014, Prince was Friday night. I want to say Jill Scott and Mary may have been the headliners for Saturday. And Sunday, I think it was Lionel Richie. And I remember Charlie Wilson going before Lionel Richie, and it made it a strange dynamic. But whatever. It was another girls' trip. Girls' trips, you eat, you hang out at the convention center, you find a party to go to, and you go to the concerts. That's what it's looked like for me. So 2022, I want to say, is when we started getting back in the routine of going, but it's changed a little bit. My husband and I go, and so we usually go with another couple. This year, the couple that we've been going with, they weren't able to make it. They had another trip, so we said we're still going to do it, but we did wait until the last minute to get everything. What I want to say about 2025 that stood out for me is the crowds. The crowds were a little bit lighter, and I think that was the one thing that I started seeing on the internet is, oh my God, people aren't coming. I figured it would be lighter because Coachella, other music festivals, they've been the same way. If you look at reviews, the crowds are lighter. Why are the crowds lighter? Let's look at our economy. Do we see what's going on? I mean, there's a correlation. If it's between paying mortgage, car payment, I'm going to pay that before getting Essence tickets, right? So I will say we were in the same boat on, are we going to buy the 3-day passes? Because like I said, that's normally what we do. When we buy our tickets prior to the artists being announced, that's what we've done. We've always bought early bird, and it was economical. Somehow this year, like life was happening. We were seeing all of the political stuff that has gone on since January with, this new regime. And we've seen Project 2025 play out. No one is certain about jobs and those things that are important to us. So I figured if we were hesitant about those things, other people are feeling the same way. We also look at the demographic that comes to Essence, and a lot of those people have been impacted with government jobs. So think about that. If you've lost your job, you're not worried about Essence. That's how I took it. That's how I looked from my perspective. There could be other reasons. So for us, that is what caused a delay. It was kind of just waiting to see what was going to go on in the world, the state of the world, all of these executive orders that are being passed. We kind of missed our timeline because it was so much other stuff going on. We started seeing the lineup. We went to buy 3-day passes, and they were unavailable. So if you don't know, you really have to buy the 3-day passes as early birds because you're getting the good price. 9 times out of 10, the lineup isn't, already announced. So you just have to trust that I'm going to go to the concerts regardless of who's there. We've done that, and it's been fine. This year we didn't. We had to buy single-day tickets, which was completely fine. So we flew in on Thursday, got there, checked into our hotel. We went to have food and came back to our room. Normally we go to the Kenny Burns D-Nice party, and we said we were going to do that later in the weekend because Saturday we were going to opt out of the concerts. So, got up Friday morning. We are refreshed. We are in the city. And guess what? We're going to go check out some restaurants. We're going to eat, and then we're going to go to the convention center. So we went to Moro's. If you have not been to Moro's, 10 out of 10. Great food. We had a great time. After we ate our food, we headed over to the convention center. And so I will tell you that Essence has an app that you are to download ahead of getting to the festival, and it's supposed to ease, your entry into the convention center. I will tell you that this year we had the easiest route since we've been coming. I think we started coming 2023, and the app has been rolled out, but guess what? We were just able to walk in. So, I mean, that's probably not how the system was supposed to work. So there were some inefficiencies there, but hey, to each its own. Yeah, they didn't check our app. They scanned us and wound us down. So we walk into the convention center, and there were a plethora of people there. It is crowded. The vibe when you walk in, there is a DJ, depending on what door it sets the tone. So we walked in, felt the Essence spirit, right? Nothing different. Walked around. I know I was opting to go to BeautyCon. I did not buy VIP passes to BeautyCon, but wanted to go see exactly what was down there. I knew it was some people I wanted to see and see different brands. So as we were walking to BeautyCon, one of the big things that I noticed is Target was close to BeautyCon. I made the decision because I have been boycotting Target. You do what you want to do. And I know it was a lot of discourse about they should not be at Essence, but why shouldn't they be at Essence? Why should they be at Essence? We can boycott a company, but take their funding to make sure that Essence still functions the way that it does. I know that they are in a multi-year contract. And let's look at that from a business perspective. If you cancel that contract, you could be in breach of contract. So if you are someone that is boycotting Target like me, you didn't have to go to their activation or their booth. And that's what I opted to do. We didn't have to give them any attention. But I found it very interesting how they moved their booth from where they normally are by AT&T down towards BeautyCon. And their setup is what stood out to me as well, because Target, we all know, red, very bright, red, bullseye. This year, their booth was pink. And I was like, oh, so I even got footage of people going to the Target booth. And I don't know, it wasn't to shame anyone, but I was surprised at the number of people when that was the number one complaint that I saw going into Essence is people saying, why is Target there if we're boycotting them? If you're boycotting, you can boycott and go past their booth. But that's not what we were doing. I was able to do it. You have to do whatever is best for you. But I haven't gone into Target and bought anything, so I just wasn't going to do that then. So fast forward, BeautyCon was probably where it was. It was very crowded. I didn't get to go to all the booths that I wanted to on Friday. But you know what? No big deal. There were a few other events that we were invited to. Since I've been creating content, there, a few events. I think there was one Society 18 that we stopped by, just in and out, those type of things that we did on Friday. Friday night, the lineup was Glorilla, I think, Isley Brothers, someone else. Babyface. I think that he was, I don't know. I think it was Babyface. Great concert. People were not happy about the lineup. And this is not the first time that I've heard that. Do I have my thoughts on that? Yes. I don't know how you put Glorilla and then you add the Isley Brothers. It's like you being ratchet here, and then I'm singing ballads. But overall, it was good. That was the night that Lauryn Hill came on, and I think she didn't come on until 2:30. That is really not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. But we didn't stay that long. So we saw what we wanted to see, and we made the decision at 1:30 when Maxwell went off that we were going to go back to our hotel. That was it. This is not abnormal in what we do. We know that Essence thins out. People see who they want to see, and you usually have a time slot on who's coming on at what time. I do think they were running behind. That is not abnormal either. Can we do better with that? Absolutely. But we stayed to see the artists that we wanted to see. There were people that came before, Glorilla was the reason that I was going on Friday. So everything else was a bonus, but it was Glow that I wanted to see. So that's how we picked when we would go to the concert. So we got a car right beforehand. We had our tickets, boom, in and out. So Friday night, we got back to our hotel, got ready for bed, went on to bed. I knew Saturday I had a very long day. So Saturday, we opted to not go to concerts because it was other things that we were fitting into our day. So I was invited by a friend to the Women in Harmony luncheon, and I just have to give a shout out to that. Urban League did an amazing job with that. I was fangirling. I saw Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson when I was walking into the Ritz-Carlton to go to that event and really wanted to scream and carry on, but I was scared, Secret Service might do something to me. But amazing event at the Ritz. Urban League does, I guess they do this annually. Goal was to give people their flowers. Some of the honorees there were Danessa Myricks. If anybody is a makeup girly, you know about Danessa Myricks, and especially that Blurring Balm, Chef's Kiss, one that we all love. I know that's one of my staples. So she was an honoree along with Patti LaBelle, who is absolutely gorgeous. Myra Brockakill, Girlfriends, and all these other shows. But Girlfriends is the one that stands out. And then I got to see Jasmine Crockett. She came in, and that was another fangirl moment. It was an amazing bruncheon. You felt empowered when you left there, and just thinking you can change the world as a woman. I don't know. But it was great. So we did that, left there, went to Kensington Gray event, which was amazing as well, and dinner, and we went to sleep. I said we were supposed to be going out, and that did not happen. I took a nap. You know how that is. The nap was a 3-hour nap. I woke up at 1 o'clock, so such is life. Sunday, we went to concerts. We did the convention center for a while, and we saw a lot of the acts that were on the stage. Great free concerts that they have, and went to other booths that we didn't get to see. So, because we skipped the convention center as a whole on Saturday, but the things that I didn't get to see or visit on Friday, we were able to do that on Sunday. So, amazing experience at the convention center. Could it have been more organized? Yes. I heard BeautyCon was an absolute mess. I know some people bought VIP and didn't get the VIP experience, but guess what? It was made up for. I started seeing messaging about that. hey, they made a mistake. This is how we're going to write it. And I do think that there were people that bought BeautyCon VIP, didn't get the experience that they wanted, but they were given VIP tickets to the concerts. So, I mean, I feel like they did the best that they could. There were things that didn't go the way as, they expected. But guess what? That happens everywhere. But I think Essence tried to do their best to right the wrongs. So I know it was a lot of discussion about concerts and people not being there. As someone that has been going to Essence for a while, people come to the concerts late as hell. Listen to me on that. People come late. People find the artists they want to see. Sunday night, people came for Master P. Master P was not the headliner, but you could tell people were there for Master P, and so they came in time to see Master P. So if you pan the room and pictures, I saw them online. I'm looking at all of this online and getting texts from my friends like, is anybody there? Yes, people were there. But people do what they want to do. People come to see who they want to see. And after they've seen it, they might leave. It is what it is. We opted to stay on Sunday night for the entire show. We walked out of the Superdome at 3 o'clock. 3 a.m. That's a long night. It's extremely long. There are things that could have been done, but we wanted to see Boyz II Men. There were a handful of people that were still there to see Boyz II Men. That's not the audience that you want them to perform, especially as being headliners in, but that's what happened. I do think that there was a lot of sound quality issues that need to be worked on. And so I hope the Essence team is taking the feedback that has been presented and doing what they can to make it better for next year. I don't know what changed from the last few years to this year, but you could tell it was a difference. There was an absence of seeing, the CEO, Miss Caroline. She was always on the stage. She was nowhere to be found. I don't know what her current status at Essence is. It's a lot of conversations about that, but she was noticeably missing. So, I don't know what changed per se with the Essence internal planning, but there are things that can be fixed. Every event is going to have hiccups. And I think just like this event had hiccups, they can change the things that they were doing. One of the things that was a big grievance was the super lounges. When I have come to Essence before, I know I have gone to super lounges if it was somebody on the main stage that I did not want to see, and I just went to the super lounge. This year they were charging for that, and it was not clear anywhere that you needed to buy tickets for super lounge. So little things like that, the devil is in the details. So hopefully next year, those are things that they can improve upon. From what I'm seeing, people, have voiced their complaints, and Essence said they're listening. My big grievance that I wanted to tell everyone on this app, or just put in this video, Essence was not a failure. As someone that has been there for years, again, my first Essence was 2005. My next Essence was 14. And then I've been going since 2023 religiously. I've been going since 2022. This was probably the lightest crowd that I've seen, but it by no means was empty. I want Essence to listen to their core audience and know who their core audience is, though. Core audience, demographics, women over 40. That is just what it is. They call it the auntie's party. I'm an auntie now, but I have a great time going to Essence. I am an auntie, and I do like to hear R&B, but you heard me say, Friday night, I was there for Glow. So keep that in mind, because just because we're over 40 doesn't mean we don't like rap. Do we need an all-rap festival? No. And I understand that Frankie Beverly is the one that used to close out Essence all the time. Bless his heart, he's no longer here. But I do think we need to have old school music incorporated in Essence. Don't change what has been the foundation of Essence if we still want to have this event. Guys, it was some stuff that I was seeing online from people that weren't even there. I'm getting calls about, oh my God, is it no one there? And again, I have to say, there were people there, but you don't want that word of mouth to ruin the event that we have. This is one of the few events that we have that we call our own. Let's provide the feedback, see what Essence does with it, and continue to support it. I know in 2026, if I'm still here, I will be at Essence again. I know there was a lot of discourse about influencers too, and all of the influencer events, and they had private events. It's always been like that. I mean, influencing is a big thing, right? And so brands are going to fly people out to represent and work their booths. So when they're flying you out, that's one of the perks of being an influencer. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a lucrative market, and I applaud everyone that was able to be flown out and to enjoy the event. I think they gave an honest perspective too of what was going on. That's, they have an audience that they can talk about Essence, and then hopefully people will say, I want to come to Essence next year if I didn't make it this year. I don't have a problem with that. I feel like, any industry is going to have that. There's VIP. It's just not for everyone. So I don't want us to be turned off from events to say influencers are, it's just taken over by influencers. I didn't feel like that. I had an amazing time. So my thought, Essence was, if on a scale of 10, I would give it a 7. It was the lighter crowd this year. There were some hiccups, sound quality, organization, kind of being able to get in the convention center without using the app like I was supposed to, things that can be worked on. And I, hope that these grievances are being heard. Essence is saying that they are. So let's just work on those. I know it was a lot of conversations as well about Essence is being taken away from Black Americans and taken over to Africans. You know what? We are Black people. So that one's a little hard. I hope that Essence takes this information to know who their core audience is, let's make sure we keep the core audience there. Whatever that looks like. If you need to hire more project managers, hey, get some project managers. Start executing the plan. So Essence team, if you need more help, do what you need to do. Hire some more help. Start planning now what needs to happen. If we know that the audio team that was working this year, if it was multiple hiccups, I know I witnessed quite a few. So let's kind of triage and see where that came from. I hope you did a postmortem, kind of talked through the things that were obvious to you and the feedback, but now we have time. You have a year to get it together, to make it right. Last year, and this is not the first time that you've heard feedback about Essence. I know every year I get the same questions because people that aren't there always say, well, I heard. You have to be there to experience or discourage anyone from coming to Essence. If you enjoy live music, come. Buy your 3-day pass too. You'll save some money. But come on out. It's a good time. And I feel like Essence is a family reunion. I will be there again next year. I love music. And I love just being around Black people. Let's just go on and be honest. I love being around us. So I'm going to stand for them. I hope and pray the things that have been voiced, they take those things into consideration. And next year will be the greatest year that I've gone just because they've heard the feedback. Again, let's not bash our events. This is one of the ones, this is a staple that we have had in the Black community. And let's keep it our event. And also, the moving from New Orleans, absolutely not. New Orleans, like for me, I know getting ready to go to Essence, I start thinking about, ooh, I'm getting ready to eat. So I enjoy the city of New Orleans. I enjoy going to all the restaurants there, eating and patronizing businesses. Even in the convention center, there are businesses that I would have known nothing about. And I go over there and I spend my money. So we want to keep Essence. It can be bigger next year and it can be better next year. So I'm hoping that someone listens to all of this feedback and we have a great Essence next year. All right. Everyone, bye.